Thanks for clicking on another video. I know it's been a little while since we posted last. If you're new, my name is Lucas, and this is my dad right here, and this is kind of a family channel. Not like family content, but like it's a family-based, we all own Jeeps and stuff like that. So today we are going to be, well, first I'd like to say thank you to everyone that has subscribed. I think currently while I'm filming this video we're at 322 subscribers, which is crazy because it was only like last week that I was at like 280, and I still can't believe that I even have 322 subscribers, so that's awesome. Super pumped about that. But now to talk about what we're going to be doing in the video, and it's going to be a little bit of engine work. As you can see in the background, the Jeep has its hood up. So my dad wants to talk about what we're going to be doing.
Hey guys, so you know, how many miles does your Jeep have on it?
190,866.
Good God. So the thing's been through hell and high water, literally, and it's lasted him a long time. It's a strong motor. These things are basically indestructible. The only thing is that he's developed this kind of a knock, and we're pretty sure it's not a rod knock. The understanding is through forums and a lot of the Jeep guys is that it's a common issue. If you want to look down here, so a lot of the noises that you hear mainly on the upper end of the motor can be related to push rod wear, which is, this is a push rod, these are brand new, and these are the rocker arms. And these rocker arms, there's no right or left, they're all the exact same rocker arms, and these are the rocker arm pivots. So these sit down inside here, okay? This goes like this, and then all this sits on top of the head. There's one per cylinder, you know, intake and exhaust. And so as these move up and down, and the push rod is wearing in here, and then this goes down into the engine for the lifter. Now we can't get to the lifter, so we're not worried about replacing those, but this is a pretty easy job because we can just take the valve cover off. Everything's right there. And because these are pretty much bolt in, you torque them down, torque specs are anywhere between 19 and 21 foot-pounds. The point is that once we replace this, the goal is to get rid of that knock, make his engine maybe run a little bit stronger too. And sometimes at higher RPMs, if you get any of these things floating and there's a lot of play in there, you can start throwing some codes and things like that. So that's something we might have to, you know, benefit from. So we'll see what happens. We're going to start working on this, and we'll let you guys know how it turns out.
Yeah, so another thing to add, as my dad was talking about the knock or the noise, it's kind of like a tick and less of a knock. It almost sounds like an exhaust leak, and that's what we actually thought it was at first. So we actually had this down to the frame, and we did a frame off restoration on this. And when we had the engine and stuff out, we were looking at the the header, because we thought it was where the header came.
The exhaust manifold.
Well, where it went to the exhaust.
Right.
And so we thought where it sealed up against either the engine, the block, or anything like that, we thought it may just have been rusty or there's a leak there, but it ended up not being that. So that's been a couple years since we did that, and it's kind of had this knock ever since. Nothing has ever gone wrong with the engine, knock on wood, but it's gotten to the point where it gets annoying, and it's only a matter of time before something else goes wrong. And we've thrown around the idea of engine swaps, what we would do, and that's just something that we don't want to really pay for right now. It's pretty expensive, and I can't afford to spend a couple $1,000s, maybe $5,000 on a new engine, and then everything that comes along with it. So what we're gonna do is, this is a much cheaper way and fix, and hopefully it does fix it. It's like $181, right?
Yeah, that's the valve cover gasket, the break-in lube, which most guys don't do. They'll just use oil, but the break-in lube's good when you're putting fresh metal together. So instead of just going straight for a new engine, I've looked at used ones on like Facebook Marketplace, but if anything, I'd rather just go with like a newer one. But we'll get into talking about an engine swap later, because I really would love to do that. So just real quick, I know I talked about the engine swap. I've gone back and forth on if I would ever do a LS or a Hemi, and I think it would be great to have that power
and just a bigger engine. I feel like sometimes it's just a little cooler to say I have an LS swap Jeep or anything like that. But I like the roots and keeping the Mopar pure Jeep engine. So I think I would still go with a straight 6, the 4 liter, or even going to a 4.6 stroker. And then on top of that, I would want to do a supercharger, maybe even a turbo. But that's the plan with that. And now we're going to get into the engine and start replacing some stuff. Showed a little bit of what we were doing. It took us like 30 minutes, so it's not gonna be like real time, but I fast forwarded it. But got the valve cover off. It was a little bit of a pain in the ass because some of the bolts back here were like hidden, hard to get to, but got it off. It is right there, and now we're gonna work on getting lifters out, right?
Yeah, so, you know, guys, if you take your time and just, you know, take pictures ahead of time, so if you take off any hoses or brackets, you know exactly where they go when you're putting it back on. But, so like, you know, these are all the rocker arms. These are the rocker arm bridges, and then down inside there are the pivots that sit in the rocker arm itself. And then everything kind of rides on top of the valve on this one end, and then the other end is where your push rod goes down into through the head into the block per se, and rides on the lifters. So once we get all these off, we're going to go ahead and lube up all the new parts, get them nice and lubed up, put some break-in lube on them as well, and we'll just one by one put all the new rocker arms in and the new push rods and everything, and we'll start torquing it.
All right, so this is what we have done so far. These are the old ones right here. And where did you see that wear? So,
you know, a lot of this stuff is very small and sometimes insignificant, but if you look at that,
kind of hard. There
yeah, that's riding on the top of the valve, you know, whatever the position of the valve is. So that shiny part is,
oh yeah, right there. You can see that real well.
Yeah, that's where the wear is. So think about all those surfaces that are touching each other, the valve, the top of the valve, this, where the push rod rides in here and moves up and down, that wears. The other end where it touches the lifter, that wears, et cetera, et cetera. And then these rocker arm guides, these wear down inside here, okay? So these sit down inside there and these pivot back and forth. So all those areas that wear over time, the mileage just causes the metal to wear away. Obviously, you get that slack, and that's where some of the knocks and the taps come from.
And these, we believe, are the original ones from 2002.
Yeah.
So they've been replaced, and they haven't been replaced in about 18 or 19 years, and these are the new ones here. So
what we're going to do is, we're going to probably stop tonight and go ahead and I'm going to come out later on, maybe soak all these things down in some oil. Then we have some break-in lube that we're going to use. We'll wipe the break-in lube over everything. Got all the brand new push rods ready to go. So we'll lube those up and we'll finish everything up tomorrow. Hey everybody, it's Rod, Lucas's dad. So Lucas is working right now. I'm taking a break from work and wanted to come out to the garage and do a little bit more work on the Jeep. So I came out super early this morning and did a little bit more prep work. I got everything cleaned up on the top of the head where the original gasket was for the valve cover, vacuumed out any debris, made sure there was no contaminants in there, wiped everything down, so it's ready to go. The gasket that I have on there is obviously a replacement gasket and it does not require any kind of sealant. So it's just basically lay it down, clean the other side of the valve cover, bolt it in place, torque it down, and you're good to go. I've got all the parts laid out that we're going to replace. All the new rocker arms are ready to go. The rocker arm pivots are all going to go back in. And then of course the bridge that holds everything in. I soaked all the bolts overnight. We have a parts cleaner, so everything was cleaned up, wiped down. All the valve cover bolts are cleaned up, ready to go. I've got all the push rods soaking. I soaked those overnight in a clean container with 10W30 motor oil. And that way it kind of helps get into those rods, into the center where the oil flows. Helps kind of prime them. That way when you drop those in, they've already got a little bit of oil in them and they're ready to go. Helps when we do an initial startup on there. And then what I'll do is as I'm going through and getting everything reassembled, I'm going to take some of the Permatex Ultra Slick and I'll apply a liberal amount of that to all the surfaces, both where the rocker arm hits on the valve and where the push rod meets. And then of course, I'll do each end of the new push rod. I'll put a little bit on each one as well. And then we should be ready to go. So we'll keep you posted. I'm hoping to knock this out here in the next maybe hour or so. And we'll keep you posted. Thanks, guys. Talk to you later. Hey, everyone. Just a quick update. So I've got all the rocker arms in. The push rods are in. Everything's set. I've torqued everything down. So now what I'm going to do is I've got the valve cover cleaned. That's ready to go in. The gasket's on. So once I get the valve cover on, I can finish buttoning everything up, get all the cables put back on, all the hoses, the cold air intake. And then I'm going to start it up, keep my fingers crossed, and hope we have no more noise. So, talk to you soon. Hey, what's up, everybody? So, moment of truth has arrived. Everything's done. Got all the rocker arms, the push rods, everything's back in, valve cover's on, everything's torqued down, all the hoses are hooked back up. So, I'm going to go ahead and fire this thing up and see what we can get. Chances are it's not going to make any noise because a lot of times the noise didn't really happen until you were accelerating. And so we'll just kind of run it for a few days. We'll run it for a few days, see what happens, and kind of go easy on it. We want everything to kind of seed in. But the sad thing is that we've got our first snow of the year and we can't really go out and play in it too hard today. I'm sure some of you are going, that's not a lot of snow where I live, but for us, it's our first snow. So we've got a couple of other Jeeps. Maybe we'll take one of them out and we'll have some fun in it. All right, well, we'll keep you guys posted on how this works out in the long run. I'm sure it's going to be fixed.
What's going on, guys? So my dad finished the engine work up and finished replacing everything while I was working. So I wish I could have worked on it and shown the video myself, but it's all good. I told him if he wanted to film, he could, so I kind of just said, turn the camera on and press record. So I don't know how the footage is gonna look, but it's pretty funny he said that. And I was completely surprised that he had finished the Jeep. So what we're gonna do, we started the engine, and you can't really hear a difference in whether if there's a knock or tick still, but what we're gonna do is go for a test drive, and we just got snow, so I don't know how much I'm gonna record just because it might be a little sketchy, but we're gonna go for a test drive, see how it performs, and I don't know. It may not be a huge difference, but in the long run, I know I can trust the parts that are in the Jeep. What's up, guys? So it's been a couple days since we have done everything to the engine, and I just wanted to give a little update. So after driving it around, you still hear a little bit of tapping or knocking, but it's not as much or as bad as it used to be. So it's still there, but it feels like the engine, so to say, has smoothed out. And the Jeep seems to also be running better. I don't know if I'm just like imagining that or it has to do with something that we replaced, but now that it wasn't a complete cure for the problem that we were trying to solve, it's really got me thinking about engine swaps and what I would want to do. And I know I kind of spoke previously about like LS or 4.0 or 4.6 like stroker, but I've decided it would 100% be a stroker of the 4.0 straight six platform. I like that factory Mopar, but I like to keep it like it's still a Jeep. I don't have the money or time to LS swap my Jeep, so it's going to be economically more efficient for me if I had to put another 4.0 in there, or sorry, I keep saying 4.0, 4.6. So I also don't want to have to go through the process of troubleshooting everything in terms of what parts I'm going to need to do an LS swap. I just don't feel like going through all that, and I'd rather just straight up take the 4.6, the stroker, and be able to just drop it right in. That to me is the easiest way to do things. For now, I'm doing research on a 4.6 stroker just because of money reasons and just easy. It's just going to be easier than an LS. So with all that being said, thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions, comments, please put them down in the comments section or DM me on Instagram. My Instagram, I think I said it earlier, but my Instagram is craft_offroad. So yeah, you can DM me there. And yeah, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, go ahead and give it a thumbs down. I'm just doing this for fun, and I enjoy working on Jeeps and helping other people that are also working on Jeeps. So, and please subscribe. After starting this video, I was at like 322, I think I said. Now we're at like 336. So just in the past couple days, we've gained some more subscribers, which is freaking awesome. I'm super happy about that. But yeah, until next video, peace.